Nice. So the recording has started, and yeah. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Tochku, and I am the lead for GDG on campus, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And we are starting off our event titled Forge and Frame, a Gamers Workshop. This event was created to lead those who are not yet into gaming but have dreams to become gamers, aspiring game developers, game testers into the world of gaming, into the world of game in general. And it promises to be an inspiring one in the sense that we have speakers that are experienced in the field of gaming. We have game developers, game testers, game players, game designers, and so on. So you are going to gain a lot from this workshop. It's a promise. So yeah, let's sit back and listen to them. Now let's welcome our speaker for today, Joseph Achimugu, who is the co-founder of Vecna Games, right? And also a game designer. He's a 3D artist and a 3D animator. So nice to have you on the session, Joseph. Maybe
Thank you
tell
for
us a brief thing. There's something about yourself that I didn't mention, which I know there are many of them. So just introduce yourself and then the floor is yours.
Yeah, okay. So Joseph Achimugu, and I'm a 3D artist. I'm also one of the co-founders of Vecna Games. I would do a, should I say, detailed introduction during the presentation. But for now, let me share my screen. Okay. So can everyone see my screen? Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, so yeah. So welcome to GDGOC. Yeah, GDG on campus, Forge and Frame. Um it's an honor to be a speaker for this. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, about the speaker. So my name is Joseph, and you can call me Ice Bear. I'm a co-founder of one of the co-founders of Vecna Games, a 3D artist, also an animator, game designer, game dev, an Unreal Engine game dev. Do I do it for fun? And also a gamer, a hardcore gamer. Okay, yeah. So next slide. Okay, yeah. So let's jump in and see what we have. So today we are going to be talking about, basically it's going to be introduction to game development, gaming. Okay, yeah. So it's going to be an introduction to game development, gaming, games, basically everything about game. I'm going to talk about um the industry. I'm going to talk about how you can get in. It's just basically an introduction today. Tomorrow you would have a hands-on practice with some of the tools you can get as a game dev. Okay, so what are games? Okay, before I continue, can everyone hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Joseph.
Okay, yeah, cool.
But now I can't hear you. It seems like you are muted. Your mic is muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, yeah, so um there are a lot of definitions to this. Um Personally, I would say a game is a structured type of play, usually undertaken for entertainment or fun. Sometimes it can be used as an education tool. So not all games are educational. Okay. Not all games are educational. Some games are just for fun, entertainment. Some are to calm your nerves. Um, People have their preferences. Um, Basically, game is just anything you can play that doesn't seem like work to you. You enjoy playing it, so it's just mainly for entertainment. Okay. So what is gaming? Okay, so gaming, according to the definition I have here, gaming is playing an electronic video game, which is often done on a dedicated gaming console, PC, or smartphone. Yeah. So the thing with gaming is that I mean you can't say someone is gaming if the person is just playing board games, if the person is playing physical games. Um Normally gaming has to do with video games, digital games. And also some might say you are not actually gaming unless you are should I say taking it to the max. Nobody calls you a gamer if you just play game for if you play it seldomly. Yeah. Okay, so gaming is more than just entertainment. It's an evolving culture that connects billions of players worldwide. So for a game to get to that level where people can say a lot of people are gaming, um basically for a game to get to that level that people can say you can game on it. I don't know if I'm using it right. Okay, yeah. So you have to have a lot of players on it. You can't just have a um an empty game and one or two people are playing and they're actually gaming unless they are spending a lot of hours on it. Okay, let's check game development. Okay, game development now. So game development is basically just the art of creating games. So based on the definition I gave you guys of like games, digital games that you play for fun. Yeah, game development is the act of creating that game. So it involves different disciplines: programming, design, art, audio, user interface, and writing. There are others. There are others actually. Um, okay. So game development is an ever evolving industry where creativity meets technology to build immersive experiences. So the word game development came after technology, obviously. When people were creating board games, stick games, tic-tac-toe, it wasn't really called game development. The word development came in when um people were creating computer games, console games, mobile games, basically. Okay. So Yeah, I talked about immersive experiences. So there are different ways of creating immersive experiences. This can be okay. So I'm not quite sure the screen you guys are seeing.
It's a screen displaying different types of games like Minecraft
Okay,
and showing a little bit of details.
okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so there are different. I mean, you see people they hate the Minecraft art style. Some people um some people love it. I might not be a fan because I've not really enjoyed it. Sometimes I play. Um, but a bunch of people really love it. So basically any game idea you have can actually go viral. And some of these games were actually created on, should I say, open source softwares. So Minecraft, for example. Um, I think the first build for Minecraft was actually created without an engine. Yeah. And I don't exactly know what this game is, but you can see the way the graphics look. Okay, this is a combination of different games. Okay. I can see Mario. I don't know what this is. Okay, but then basically I just put this here to just show you the game worlds and stuff like that. It's just like as a game developer, you are creating immersive experiences for people. People have their different interpretations of that. You might be focused on game design, some might be focused on what people see, the visuals, some might be focused on sound, some might be focused on though it's actually very nice to balance everything out. So if a game is not lagging anywhere, basically it's not lagging everywhere, anywhere, the game will always remain on top. If you look at Subway Surfers, um you see there is no area they are lacking in. So Subway Surfers remains like one of the um top played game in the whole world currently. Okay, so let's look at game engines. So the reason I'm looking at game engines first before I'm talking about which discipline you should go to into as a game developer is because of not only game engineers use game engines. Some Unreal Engine, for instance, can okay, yeah. So Unreal Engine, for instance, artists use it. A bunch of people that don't know how to code, you can use Unreal Engine. It has a nice render engine. It's actually very nice for animation. You just need a high spec PC to run it here. Okay, so basically, so here I just put five here. So basically, these two are one of the major um game engines. Normally, when any game developer is looking to starting game development, they use either of these two because of they are the two with the highest reputation. If you're adding a third, it will be Godot. So we have Unity, Unreal, Godot, Game Maker Studio 2, Construct 3. So Unity, yeah, you can use it to make 2D games, you can use it to make 3D games, basically any type of game you can think of. Unreal Engine, same thing. You can use it to create 2D games, you can use it to create 3D games. Though people prefer Unity for 2D and Unreal for 3D. Godot, on the other hand, you can use it to create 2D games, you can use it to create 3D games. Um, I'll basically reserve my comments for Godot because I haven't tried the engine yet. I've tried this first too. I haven't tried Godot, so I don't know exactly how great it is. But I'll basically show you guys the as a game engineer, I'll show you the languages you can use on each of these three and some others. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So for Unity now, languages just C sharp. You can only use C sharp on Unity. You can't use any other language on Unity. Um, for Unreal Engine, you can only use C++. You can't use any other language. This Cry engine, Lua, not out of that. C++, C sharp. Yeah. So basically, if you're a Unity dev, you can switch over to Cry engine easily. Unreal Engine 2, you can switch over to Cry engine. So it uses both C++, C sharp, Lua. Godot, they have Godot scripts, GD scripts. That is the popularly used one. So it's just like it has its own specific language. You also have C++, C sharp, so you can use C++, you can use C sharp. Panda 3D, Python, C++. So community, in terms of community, Unity is taking the win because Unity has the most combination of artists, developers in its community. It has the highest amount of people there. Unity is a very beginner friendly um, application. Unreal Engine is next. If you can see these numbers, Unity takes 123,000 plus developers. Unreal Engine takes 42.6 thousand. CryEngine 10.2 thousand. Godot 24.7 thousand. Panda 3D 2.5 thousand. Um, okay, platforms, PC, GC, web, all of this. Let's see. Okay, so for the asset store now, Unity uses Unity Asset Store. Unreal Engine uses Unreal Engine Marketplace, also called Fab. They changed the name to Fab recently. CryEngine uses its own marketplace. Godot uses its own asset library. Panda 3D doesn't really have one, so you have to import assets manually. So the advantages of these asset stores now is that you can easily import um your assets straight from those stores into the engine without like having to deal with all these issues you have when you see all these um you're following a tutorial, the person is telling you import this way, and then you're trying to import it but you're having issues. So this makes things easier to import into their specific engines without having your texture not showing, or basically any issues you can have with your models, your art, your assets, everything. Okay, license, there's no need for that. Developer, no need for that. Yeah. Okay, based on the date of creation, Unreal Engine is the oldest here. It was created 1997. Um, CryEngine 2002, Panda 3D 2002, Unity 2005, and Godot 2014, which really goes to show you how Unity is really making um basically Unity is doing well compared to every other thing because of like they are like the fourth to come out in this list, and they have the largest community you can find. Okay. Um. Okay. Let's look at the gaming industry now. Some people look at the gaming industry like there's no money there, but there's actually like a lot of money there. So the global gaming industry is worth over 200 billion. The numbers are around 192 billion currently. Um, Basically by the end of this year, it's predicted to get to 200 billion. Uh, Yeah, so it's driven by mobile, console, and PC gaming. New technologies continue reshaping how people play. Technologies like virtual reality, VR goggles, and stuff like that. Let's see the next. Okay, so market trends. Ignore this diagram. It's not really um useful for anything. Okay, so mobile gaming dominates revenue. So out of PC, mobile, console, the device that basically takes the highest revenue in the entire world is mobile gaming. So there's a lot of money made in mobile gaming. Um it dominates over PC and console. I will still talk about monetization later. Okay, so cloud gaming and streaming platforms expand accessibility, allowing players to enjoy high quality experiences without expensive hardware. So basically do I have to explain cloud gaming? Okay, so cloud gaming basically, so you know how we play PUBG, COD, and Farlight, all these games that can accommodate a million players. So it's not just done with basic um hardwares, easy hardwares. It's like it's done basically through um strong servers. Yeah, basically. So that is called like cloud gaming. So they are using a bunch of like hardwares from all these um okay, let's see, okay. So basically just picture how we have render farms in arts. I don't really know if you guys know about render farms, but like they're using a lot of processors to handle the information gotten from all these players and basically make things smooth with their servers so that you can easily connect to their games play, and they can accommodate a lot of players at the same time. Though there are still limitations um to these devices. Basically, you see there are times you try to connect to your game, and even though your internet is strong, they still have server crashes and stuff like that. So player demographics. Okay, gamers are diverse. We have children, adults, and even seniors. Basically everybody can be considered a gamer. Um, Different games have their different audience. There are some games that you can see little kids, children playing. There are some games that you can see seniors playing. There are some games you can see adults playing. Basically, every game have their own audience. But like from the general gaming industry, there is a game for every basically every age. Yeah. Okay. For example, if you look at first person shooter games, um, you don't see seniors playing those kind of games. I mean, you might see some seniors, but like those are the ones we call the weird ones. But like you don't it's not a common game for seniors to play. So game genre evolution. So from RPGs to battle royale, genres continuously evolve. I think I'm having a problem with one of my images. Okay, before I continue, is there any question? Does anybody have any question for me? I want to know. Can You guys hear me?
Yeah, sure, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. So no questions so far. Okay. Um. There are a lot of genres in gaming. So multiple genres like puzzle, arcade, lifestyle, hyper casual, AR slash location based, simulation, shooter, strategy, RPG, card games, sports, driving, casino. Okay. All these genres have their own broken down genres. So okay, I don't see horror here. I'm surprised I can't see horror. Okay, so all these genres have their own broken down genres. So there are a lot of genres that have puzzle with them. You can have action puzzle, board games, bubble shooter, match three puzzle. Um Match three is just like Candy Crush. So those games that you have to match three items to get rid of them. Um Merge games, other puzzles. When you come to simulation, you have adventures, breeding, typhoon or crafting, sandbox, time management. We also have stuff like dating sims. Um, RPG, fighting, action RPG, puzzle RPG, indie RPG. That's okay. No, that's I do. Survival. Strategy games. There are a bunch of strategy games. Shooter also. Card games. I'm saying only one here. And sports, there are a bunch of sport genres too, driving the same thing. Okay. So history and evolution of video games. Okay, so basically here we're just talking about how far video games have gone, how new technologies have been basically implemented in the sector of game development to improve the experiences you get as a gamer. Okay, so this is just a simple image of the evolution of game. So stones, checkers, board games, video games, PC games, game console, mobile, tablet, VR, AR. So this is just the process we went through to get to where we are now. Um, I wouldn't say we are quite here now. We're not quite there in AR, but we are there in VR. Yeah. Um, there is something missing here. Arcade games. Yeah, basically arcade games. Those games. Those times you don't really find um console games like Game Boy or Nintendo that at that point in time. So you just have to go to an arcade to play your games on the arcade devices. I'm sure everybody knows how it looks like. Something like this. Yeah. So industry trends and future of gaming. Okay, so we've talked about how far we've come in gaming. So what about the future? So for the future, basically the truth is that the human being can never be entertained, and everybody knows that you can never be truly entertained. There's no point you get entertained and you'll be like, okay, I don't want to see more. Everybody wants to see more. That's the nature of humans. Okay, so basically it's just like we had mobile games and stuff like that, but then like you are still not enough, you're still not satisfied with what you have, and you're like, okay, I want to go for a heavier game. You download the heavier game on your phone and you see, oh my phone is not strong enough to handle it. Okay, what about getting a device that can basically handle every game that gets on that device? So you get a Nintendo, you get a PS5, um console device. You're enjoying it, yeah, you enjoy it for a couple of years, and then you find out there's something like virtual reality gaming, and you're like, okay, I want to get that now. So basically, there is no point in time where we would be satisfied with what we have. Um, that's both a bad thing and a good thing. I won't really explain why, but okay. So everybody knows the future of gaming currently that we look at is VR gaming, AR gaming, basically the metaverse. Um, a world that you can immerse yourself in as a gamer, and like you feel you're actually in that world. So normally we thought we were there with PC, but we weren't actually there. So now we are basically trying to actually be there with VR. We might not be satisfied with that and push AR to the max. So in case you guys have don't understand what I mean by VR and AR. Okay, so virtual reality, augmented reality. So virtual reality now is a way of, should I say, immersing yourself in the world. So you wear a goggle like this, and then you're basically like in that world. You can interact with um objects in the world, play your game like you were in the world. For augmented reality now, augmented reality is immersing the world in your own world. So it's just like you you are in your actual, let's say you're in your room now, and then like the game is also in your room with you. So objects in your room, you can touch objects in your room obviously, and then you can also play the game like the game characters, everything, they are in your room. They can I mean, they can't move objects in your room, but then like they can move around your room and stuff like that. You can see them moving in the real world. So that is augmented reality. So it's more advanced than virtual reality. So basically, yeah, they bring new level of immersion, enabling players to interact with digital worlds in physical spaces. Technology in gaming. Okay, so artificial intelligence in gaming. Okay. So a lot of people, if they hear artificial intelligence in gaming, AI in gaming, some people might think about all these prompting stuff and like and whatnot. But that is not actually what we mean when we talk about AI in gaming. So AI in gaming is everybody knows the advantage. I mean, the reason why everybody likes an AI, because it's, should I say, curiosity. A bunch of people are curious to see, okay, what's an AI going to come up with, or basically the AI is unpredictable to some level, so people love integrating AI. If your game feels very repetitive, players won't really love engaging with it. But like you see in a game, a character does something normally, and then okay, you normally stop the character this way. You let's say the villain in your game always starts with, let's say, um okay, so let's say the villain in your game always starts with a, should I say, punch to the head kind of attack, and then you now as the player, you always know, okay, a punch to the head is always coming. Why can't I? Okay, let me just be dodging. Let me just be dodging. Now, if you integrate AI into your game, if the NPCs are, by NPCs I mean non-playable characters, the characters the players are not controlling. If AI is integrated in them, they can easily adapt to you, the player, and basically make the game harder for you, which also makes the game more enjoyable for you. So you know, the player always goes with a face to your face at the start of every fight. But then at a point, the player doesn't go for that. The player goes for like a random point, and you're like, wait, what just happened? So instant you get a rush of adrenaline or something like that, and you're like, wait. So this guy is actually unpredictable. I need to be very careful so the guy doesn't actually land a hit on me. Um, Basically, let's say in a game where a hit on you means you're gone. Okay, so future of gaming, let's see, gaming future lies in innovation, inclusivity, and global connectivity. As technology evolve, so does the potential to create unforgettable experiences. So basically, people look at VR and AR as the should I say, final wall in game development, but it's not actually, like, actually it's not, because of humans continue to evolve. At a point we're looking at um mobile games, console games. We're looking at console games at a point as the wall in game development. So people didn't really look at stuff like virtual reality and augmented reality. But that was because of they didn't exist at that point in time. So there was nothing like virtual reality, there was nothing like augmented reality. Nobody thought of those things coming into existence. But now that they came into existence, the basically every this doesn't just apply to game development, this also applies to every single stack in the tech industry. So everybody wants to keep up with the trends. Everybody wants to keep up with basically every new thing that comes out that everybody loves. Everybody loves VR, everybody loves AR. So why not just go into it? If you're the first person to leverage from that, you would make a lot of money, and that's what a lot of people are after. So basically the industry would never have um a should I say basically they won't have an end point. The industry will never have an end point because everybody's trying to supersede the other person and basically become the top. And nobody wants to let you stay in the top forever. Everybody's looking at Elon Musk um as the richest person in the world. Nobody is fine with him staying there. The second isn't just sitting down saying, okay, I'll leave it for him. Basically that is how everything is. So you think VR and AR is like the future of gaming. Somebody else is thinking VR with sensitivity is the future of gaming. So you are in Morocco, another player is in Brazil. The player in Brazil punches you and you actually feel the pain. Some people are looking at that as the future in gaming, and they're trying to achieve that in um 6 to 10 years. But you now you're looking at, okay, VR is the future in gaming. Let me achieve that before I die. So it's just basically everybody's trying to keep up with the trend. So you have to also keep up with um that, because by the time you achieve what you wanted to achieve, you might already be late in basically the trend. By the time you achieve that VR, um should I say, by the time you bring VR, people might be looking at VR as something that is not really interesting. They'll tell you that it's like the past and stuff like that. So okay. Game development process. Okay, so what is the game development process? So first of all, we have concept and planning. Then we move over to development and testing. So in this concept and planning now, what um is done is, yeah, drafting out the concept of the game, yeah, creating the story, um creating the game design, basically everything that has to do with planning of, okay, this is the game I'm going to create. Okay. um but by the time you are done with that, you go over to the next phase, which is development and testing. Now in this development and testing, what you do is you are creating your game and you're also testing it to make sure you don't have any bugs or issues with codes, assets, um basically your codes and assets, and also user experience. So you want players to play your game and always come back to it. You want players to enjoy your game. So basically every stage is very important. But then this stage is very critical because this is basically what decides, is the game good enough to be released. Um, Design and prototyping. Okay, this is actually a part of this. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the steps was actually going this way. It's actually going this way. Yeah. So this stage is basically the game, creating the game design, mechanics, and everything. This is creating the game itself, and this is release. So this, at this point, is where you release. Um, is where you release your game. It's like I can put this to full screen. At this point, you release your game, and then basically the users check it out. Okay, is it good enough? Should I keep on playing it? Yeah. The game production pipeline. So I just want to show you a basic um look at the game production pipeline before I go into what we have next. Okay, so first of all, we have the game writer. So what this person does is the person writes the story of the game. So the person writes the story of the game. Okay, so this game is going to be like okay, let's look at something like Subway Surf now. The game writer came up with an idea. Okay, I want a graffiti artist that basically vandalizes a train. So the game starts with a graffiti artist that vandalizes a train, and then a police cop, a cop and his dog starts chasing him. So that's the gameplay, the chase. The writer doesn't talk about what happens during the chase, so just the writer might just say, okay, he chases they chase him through a bunch of obstacles. The writer doesn't decide if it's okay, a train. The writer might have not even decided if the graffiti artist was vandalizing a train. So the writer could say, we have a graffiti artist vandalizing, let's say, a wall or something like that, a building, and then a cop sees the graffiti artist with the cop is with his dog, and they start chasing the graffiti artist. So the graffiti artist now is maybe running to a city or something like that. But then this the game writer gives that concept he designed now to the game designer, and then this game designer now pieces everything together and creates basically the gameplay that basically creates the immersive gameplay you players see. Creates the idea of it. I mean, doesn't actually program it. Okay, so the game designer now says, okay, no, running in the city is boring. Let's make it train tracks. Let's make it a train the graffiti artist is vandalizing. The graffiti artist is vandalizing a train. The cop sees the graffiti artist and start chasing him. The obstacles are trains, a bunch of obstacles that you can jump over, slide on. The basically all those stuff. The game designer thinks of power ups in the game, like the pogo stick, the rocket, the jetpack, the hoverboard, stuff like that. The game designer designs how you use those. Okay, it says, okay, in the game you can see the pogo stick, you can see the rocket pack, you can see the boots, you can see the score multiplier. um The hoverboard, on the other hand, you don't just sit in the game. The hoverboard, you get them from the store. You buy your hoverboards. In the game, you can just double tap on your screen and activate the hoverboard. So that's a good way of players saving themselves if they are maybe in a tight situation or something like that. The game designer decides that rule of if a player is using a hoverboard and the player dies, the player actually like just gets rid of the hoverboard and continue moving as a normal person. So it's like actually there's a use to the hoverboard. It's not just visuals, it's both visuals and game design. Players would want to get hoverboard not just because of they want to see their um characters moving on the hoverboard, but also because of they want to save their lives when let's say they have no choice and they know they're going to die and but then they want to max their score or something like that. So they have to use the hoverboard. So the game designer basically designs the concept of everything you see in the game, how they work, the game mechanics, everything. Um, the developer now creates the game, so he takes that concept and bring it to life by um writing codes. So by writing codes, there's supposed to be a game artist somewhere here, but then the game artist is basically in the same spot as the game developer. So the game developer gets um, resources and assets from the game artist and develops the game in a software, in a game engine, or basically without a game engine. So just open. Uh, Now the job of the game tester now is to basically test the game and make sure it's, should I say, build ready. So like it's ready for players to play without getting frustrated or dropping it because of bugs and stuff like that. So the person that is actually supposed to spot um people obviously we know the game developer the bugs, but it's not the game developer's job to spot all bugs. The game developer spots the development bugs, the bugs he can see from like developing the game and should I say early testing. The game tester now spots the hidden bugs that players can actually hardly see. I mean, the developers can hardly see. The ones players are likely, the ones core gamers are likely to experience. So, there are a bunch of bugs that you can't experience unless like you've played the game for a very like long while. You need to play the game very well to spot those bugs because maybe they are deep in the game. They are while you are using a basically while you're using something in the game that you can't get unless you are at a certain degree. So the game tester's job is to beat the game without encountering any bugs. If the game tester encounters any bug, he sends it back to the game developer to fix the bug. Game developer sends it, tests it out, and yeah. So by the time this loop is fixed, there's no bug in the game again. We can now push it out to the gamer. So the gamers, that's basically our audience, can now play the game. I basically explained a lot of the um careers in game development. Yeah. Okay, so careers in game development. Let's check out the careers in game development. Okay, so we have animation, art, audio, design, production, programming, quality assurance. This isn't all of the careers in game development. There are other bunch of careers, but like these are basically the core careers in game development. So which are you? So which of them is a good fit for you? Basically, I I mean I would be guiding basically you guys to see which is a fit for you. Okay, so let's see. I'm not sure the name of this company. Okay, yeah. So first of all, we're looking at the game design. So the game designers. So who is a game designer? A game designer is a person who designs the rules of the games. Okay, basically here we're looking at the game designer as both the writer, the both the writer and the designer. So architects of gameplay experience defines the feel of the gameplay, the narrative, oversees creative development from concept to release and beyond. Okay, so basically, with I would say without the game designer, there's no game, but there are also a bunch of other um careers there. But like the game designer is the person that decides if this game is going to be good or not. So if the game designer, if you have a poor design, if you have a very poor design, the game will be terrible. You have a poorly written game or a poorly designed game. Okay, so under this stacks now we have a lot of other stacks under them. Um okay, so possible specialisms included system designer. So we have system designers, we have level designers, we have AI designers, we have narrative designers, we have technical designers, UX designers. So a bunch of these might already be self-explanatory to you guys. System designers, they're the ones that design basically how the entire game works. So they have just been designing the concept of the game. They don't go deep into levels and stuff like that. Basically, system designers actually comprises of all of this. But if you have a system designer and a level designer, the level designer does a different work from the system designer. Now, what the level designer does is that the level designer designs all of the levels you see in the game. So if it's a level based game, the level designer is basically designing okay, so this is how this level is going to be. This is the twist I want to introduce to this level. um if it's not a level based game, it can be a should I say an environment based game. So you'll be designing based on environments you have, and like even if all environments are considered equal, it's a level designer's job to design what you see in that environment. Okay, so in this environment, I don't want you can't see polar bears in a hot environment. Obviously, you can't see fishes on the land. That's okay. Okay, so you can't see um if you have, let's say, an icy environment, and you have a fiery environment. So the level designer is going to design what you see in this environment and what you see in this environment. So if it's a monster based game, he talks about the kind of monsters you see in this icy environment, the kind of monsters you see in this fiery environment. The system designer is designing the concept of the game. Mainly, this concept has to do with the main character, um, the character the players use, the character other players uses, basically all those stuffs. Skills include communication and design documentation, collaboration, analytics, analytical skills, problem solving, mathematics, visual design skills. Softwares include you can see on Unity, you can see Unreal Engine, Excel spreadsheet, Photoshop, basically all of this. Um, so game designers are the kings of game development. They create and bend the rules of games. So basically the game designers can be considered the a game designer can be considered the god of a game. So he's the one that creates the rules. Um, the programmer has no right to edit a concept the game designer created without the game designer's knowledge. So the programmers are just there to implement what the game designers came up with. So to create a game, you need a game design document. It's basically there are a bunch of you just basically create a document that has to do with the genre and overview, the features, interfaces, mechanics, music, sound, type, art style, story, platforms. Okay, okay, level design. This is basically just a view of level design. You can see this looks like a level based game. Um Basically from these images you won't exactly know if it's a level based game or an environment based game, but every level obviously have different environments. So this is the job of the level designer to design basically what you encounter in different levels basically. Okay. So game engineer, I've talked about game engineer a lot. I'm not going to really dwell on the game engineer. A professional who develops video games. So your job is to write the codes, build the game, um, based on the documents the game designer created. So the game designer creates the game design document, gives it to the game engineer, and the game engineer creates the game based on that document. If the game engineer needs clarification, he meets the game designer and basically gets all the clarification you need. Okay, so art. So everyone knows this is where I specialize in. So um I'm a bit excited to talk about this. Okay. Um so art, we know art is divided into 2D and 3D. We also have 2.5D. That is basically a combination of 3D and 2D. You have 3D environment with 2D characters. You also have 2D environment with 3D characters. That's 2.5D. Yeah. So is a combination of 2D and 3D. But most games you see are 2D or especially 3D. If you look at a game like Shadow Fights 3, I think Shadow Fights 3 is actually 2.5D. So the environment is a 2D environment, but the characters are 3D. So that's a 2.5D game. So uh under these two rules now, this 2D art and 3D art are basically like different disciplines on their own, because each of them have their individual um specialists. So under 2D you have a 2D environment artist. Under 3D you also have a 3D environment artist. Under 2D you have a 2D character artist. Under 3D you have a 3D character artist. The same with concept art. Though concept art is mostly just one um type, basically just 2D concept artists most times. We also have 3D concept artists, but one of the mandatory skills of being a 3D concept artist is being a 2D artist. So you hardly see 3D concept artists. So I'm going to talk about what each of them do. We also have the technical artists. Um, Under each of these artists, character engineer. We also have prop artists. Prop artists, they specialize in one prop. You can have vehicle artists. You can have it's common to see vehicle. Vehicle is the most common prop to see. You can have furniture. Yeah, furniture artists. There are furniture artists and stuff like that. But in Everyone knows in Nigeria you have to specialize in everything. That's one thing about Nigeria. You can't just specialize as if very good artist and expect to get a job by learning just that. Um, okay, so a concept artist basically designs the so the job of a concept artist, the first artist that everything runs through is the concept artist. So the concept artist takes the description of the characters, vehicles, environments, and brings it to life. So by just reading a description, they say, okay, so a calming environment filled with vegetations and um, vegetations, obstacles, stuff like that. And like by just reading that, the concept artist already imagines a concept of that um, environment that he just read about, creates the concept and pushes it to the environment artist in this case. So the concept artist just draws basically the concept of, okay, these are the type of characters we're going to have in the game. These are the type of this type of vehicle we're going to have in the game. Okay, so it designs a concept, different views, and sends it to the um vehicle artist. In this case, this sends this to the vehicle artist, sends this to the character artist, sends this to the environment artist. This is more okay. This is concept art. This is concept art. So we also have it's not just limited to concepts. It's not just limited to concepts. So concept artist also does storyboarding, but I mean we do have storyboard artists. Concept artists sometimes do storyboarding. So storyboarding is just like if you're in this case I'm talking about games. If your games have like a story, it's a story based game. You just create sketches of how the story progresses basically. Character artist, you should know what the character artist does. The character artist designs the characters in the game basically. The character artist is working directly with the game developer, because the character artist basically with the animator, which is working directly with the game developer. So in this case, this is character art. This can be a finished character the character artist creates. This seems more of concept. So this is more of a concept actually, but this is also part of character art. Okay. Environment artist designs the environments basically. So you create the 3D environments, the 2D environments that players are going to be interacting with. Um, in this case, this is 2D. In this case, this is actually a 2D image, but in this case, this is a 3D game. This is more of a concept of how the environment is to look like. This seems like to the environment, the character is there interacting with the environment. This is the job of the 2D environment artist. UI art. So UI art is actually um another another sector of arts in game development. So there are artists that just specialize with UI. They just create UI for games. So basically a lot of them just specialize in different things. Um, there are basically different type of UIs you can have. So this kind of UI is the normal ones you see in a lot of games. It's just normal 2D UI that you see. This is also 2D, but it's made to look 3D. So you need some extra skills for something like this. Some extra skill sets. This too is also 2D, but you also need that extra skill set of like high realistic depth and stuff like that to get the desired art you want. Okay, so for animation, Basically, I don't need to explain animation much. Animation is just you get those finished arts from the 2D and 3D artists and you animate them. If you have the 3D artists, sometimes the animators have to rig the characters to animate them. Okay. Audio, yeah. Audio is actually an underrated discipline. A bunch of companies lack in this audio, in this audio. I mean a bunch of companies in Nigeria. So audio is actually very important. If you have a nice gameplay, an immersive gameplay, but your game is lagging in audio, the experience isn't going to be as um enjoyable as if the audio was the best it could be. So audio is very important. There are a bunch of specialists you can have under here: sound designer, music designer, composer, technical sound designer, audio QA, basically audio quality assurance, dialogue engineers, um, audio administrator, audio director. Basically, most of these you just get these specializations in a huge industry, in a huge company with multiple sections. Production team, what the production team does is basically organize the creation of game as well as oversees the development. So they are basically in the whole process of development. Um, the, the production team is more of like the people that coordinate the process. You don't need to have too much um knowledge of the game development process. I mean, you need knowledge of the game development process, but you don't really need much knowledge. Basically, the most important skill here is management, people management, time management, presenting, communication, experience with agile slash scrum structure. So basically, you need to be this is the job of a product manager, project manager. Mm, Basically, the production team just makes sure that everybody is doing what they do. So you make sure the game developer is actually keeping up with the work given to him. You make sure the game artist is actually in sync with the game engineer. There are other specializations under this um, and quality assurance. Yeah. So this is basically other testing points. So when quality assurance, what they are all about is making sure that the game is bug free. Um, they get feedback from users. What the users issues the users are having, they relay that to the programmers, and also the game designers in any case needed. Um, Basically, they are they serve as a bridge between the users and the engineers. Yeah, the users and the developers. So the if the users are experiencing a lot of issues with the game with the game you developed, and like the issues are not well handled, but the programmers are up and running, the problem is coming from the quality assurance unit. So the quality assurance units, they are meant to always get feedback from the users and relate to to the devs, basically. So the devs are not supposed to interact with the users in most cases. They are not supposed to interact with the users. They're not supposed to. Quality assurance, they get this data from the I mean, where the games are released, Play Store, you see a bunch of comments people make on Play Store. Okay, the game is not opening in Android 11. The quality assurance unit, they are supposed to get that information, relates to the developer. Okay, why is the game not opening on Android 11 devices? Okay, the game developer tests it and sees, okay, this is the reason, fix it, and release and update, basically. So quality assurance also have to do with bugs and testing. I mean, in Nigeria, you find that QA also carries out testing of the app with the that is around the whole company. So there are a bunch of specializations here, but programming, I think I already talked about this. I already talked about engineering, the engineering team. Okay, yeah. So the engineering team is also divided into different specializations. So you can have a gameplay programmer. The gameplay programmer only deals with programming what you see in the game. Forget the UI, forget the basically forget the UI, forget the audio sometimes, forget basically UI and audio at times. The gameplay programmer is just there to make sure you get an immersive gameplay once you're in the process of playing the game. So in PUBG and COD, the gameplay programmer is just involved with that whole gameplay phase, the part where you're shooting people and stuff like that. The gameplay programmer has nothing to do with um integrating UI in the game. We have the UI programmer. So the UI programmer creates basically deals with what the uh should I say interfaces the players interact with. Audio programmer deals with basically everything audio in the game. The programmer have to make sure that everything is smooth. The door sound plays when the door is actually opened and not like maybe the door opens first before the door sound gets to the user. AI programmer has to do with NPCs in the game. So yeah, basically making creating making them have like strong AI integration. So unpredictable, very unpredictable. Tools programmer, not really popular. Graphics programmer, engineer programmer, engine programmer. Okay, yeah. So engine programmer now, what they do is they design engine. There are some companies that don't use all this Unreal. They don't use um Unity. So they use their specialized engine. You see a bunch of company. I think there's a company like that called Red. So some of you might have heard of I think Red Engine. So that belongs to a company. Unreal Engine actually belonged to it belongs to Epic Games, but it was the engine they built for their basically built it for their games, but they released it for everyone to use it. Basically, um, there are a bunch of skills for that. Basically, programming, geometry, um, maths, basically. Okay, there are a bunch of other careers in game development, business planning, DevOps, human resources, IT, brand marketing, operations, web development. It's probably hard to see this, but this is basically all the game professions you can have. So you can see there are a lot of game professions here. From talent to marketing to human resource, content media, broadcast. So gaming communities. Yeah, gaming communities is a way of improving um communications between gamers. Also encouraging gaming, basically encouraging gaming. This is not really something that it's all about, but like we have a bunch of game communities in Nigeria. One popular one is Ohanes. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's in Usuka here, yeah. Um, Opportunities and challenges. Uh, Obviously, there's a lot of opportunities in game development actually. game jams, getting jobs and stuff like that. Also, there are a bunch of challenges for game developers: regulation, data privacy, and basically what the industry is facing. Um, okay, yeah. So thank you. Let's continue to play, innovate, and connect. If you would like to connect with me, this is my mobile number. This is also my WhatsApp number. Um, you can see my email. You can see my X handle, my Instagram handle, and also okay, this is that of Vecna Games. Yeah. So reach out. So basically follow. Yeah. It's if you want to keep up with what we create. Yeah. And also there will be a lot of opportunities in basically the gaming sector in Enugu. I'm saying specifically Enugu because of like we haven't had um a bunch of stuff until recently. We've had a bunch of companies coming up like Vecna Games, Hammer Games, Quiver Games. But basically, let's just say Enugu is soon going to be one of the top in game developments in the whole of Nigeria. And we want that to start with everybody in UNN. We want GDG to be a means of bringing game development to life. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you to GDG too. It's quite an honor. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, very, very much, Joseph. It's it was a very, very nice session you had, and we are very grateful for having you here. Thank you so much. And I hope and I trust that everyone got their share of knowledge from what you shared and that we learned a lot. Yeah. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. And thank you to everyone who stayed till the end. I know most of us had other things to attend to, so we had to leave. But thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Right. For those that were not around during the introduction, this is Forge and Frame, our very first game or gamer focused event here at GDG on campus, University of Nigeria. And the hosts, my name is Tochku. I am the lead for GDG on campus, University of Nigeria. And the speaker who does spoke right now is Joseph Achimugu. He is our game developer facilitator for GDG on campus, University of Nigeria. So like he said, you can reach out to him through his various different social media platforms and also on WhatsApp. Now, if you have any questions, he is available for questions to answer them. But if you can't maybe voice them out or type them in this current session, you can also reach out to him or leave a comment on the event platform or on our WhatsApp platform also, and he will get back to you in a minute. Anyways, does anyone have any question right now to ask? You can raise your hand and I'll bring you up. Okay, Chibo, are you raising your hands? Okay. Okay, let's hear from you, Chibo. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm good. I wanted to know, let's say, as a video production person, videography, editing, where do you think I can fit in game development?
Yeah. It's a very actually that's a very needed role in game development. So a huge problem people have with game development is basically marketing, reaching out to audience, publicity, and then that is a very good role for publicity. So video editors, you can create content for um basically the company. to get like the company out there for people to see, for people to know about the company, you need a lot of fans on your side to get your company actually well known around the world. Also, if you are also into videos like maybe creating animations or something like that, that is actually a very good way of creating game ads. um but then if that is not a if that is not available, you can easily go for the um content driven game art. So it's like you just have a video of like somebody very exciting, um somebody with a very exciting personality. Person does a bunch of nice stuff. It's basically just to drag attention, and then plays the game in front of the camera. People see how nice the game looks, and then you've had your video, you post it, and basically a lot of these videos actually catch your eyes. You see a bunch of ads from games like Real Match. You see a guy just pop up and say, "Hey guys, I have like the best match 3 game you can um you've been basically the best match 3 game you can find. So if you're a match 3 lover, check it out." The guy plays the game on the screen, people see it, and then basically it's just to drag more people to the game, and then that actually increases the amount of players you get, because by that time you get to the players, um there are some people that don't play your games because not because they don't like it, but because they don't know about it. And it's the job of yeah, it's the job of the video creators, basically content creators, to get to those audiences. So basically you create the video, the marketing team releases the video, basically publicizes it through ads, yeah, for people to see it. Have I answered your question? Okay, yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. I guess the question he asked was relating to being a videographer and your position in gaming, right? Okay, I want to ask a question as a follow-up to what he asked. So you mentioned something about AR and VR, like
Yeah.
VR being reality. So I used to think, or maybe I still do, but maybe after you answer the question, I might get a little bit clarification that
Yeah.
the environment in a VR game is usually mapped out by a videographer who um, takes kind of a 3D camera to go around the whole scene and map out the environment. Then it's then fed into the engine per se, and then the virtual environment is created. Am I correct? Is my assumption? Oh, why are you laughing at me? I
Okay.
just this
So yeah. Yeah. That's okay. That is actually another um avenue for videographers. So some environments in we see in VR games are actually scanned and not like actually modeled. So you scan it, and then you basically some use AI to create the models in the game. Some basically use those scans in the game environment. So you see a bunch of people carrying cameras around a room and basically getting as much views they can get from every angle to basically get exactly what the how the environment can be. So yeah, that is also the job of the videographer. Um, just to capture that environment. If you want it to be very realistic, yeah, you can get it by being
okay.
a videographer.
So,
Yeah.
so my assumptions were not wrong. And why is Zeus laughing
Yeah,
at me?
it's not wrong actually. Yeah, assumption is not wrong. So in
Yeah.
some cases, yeah, in most cases, for now, I think in most cases, a bunch of people. I'm basically talking based on non-realistic standpoint. So it cannot be achieved if you need a non-realistic environment, because you'll be scanning a realistic environment. But like if it's a game that needs a realistic environment, yeah, you can scan. If you want a game that is based in let's say Abuja building or pharmacy building, you can carry a camera, go around. There are a bunch of softwares you can use for that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's nice. That's nice. Thank you for clarifying me on that. So, does anyone else have any question? No one. Okay, that's nice. Remember, if you have, or if you maybe remember or think of something that you need clarification on, you can always reach out to him on the group. Just tag him, Ice Bear or Joseph, whatever. Right, and with that, we have come to the end of the first session in our gamers event, and this is a huge thank you to everyone who joined. It's a very special way, Joseph, our speaker. Thank you so much for giving us a huge chunk of your mind. Not literally, but yeah, a huge chunk of your mind, yeah. So yeah, so let's all prepare also to join in tomorrow, the same time, 7 p.m. West African time, as we have a continuation from another very, very important, very, very professional speaker joining us tomorrow. I won't mention his name until tomorrow. So yeah, let's prepare. Invite your friends, those that haven't registered yet, send the links to them and remind them, literally drag them by the hands to the session. And we'll see you tomorrow, the same time, the same venue. Thank you so much for joining, guys. And I'll be ending the recording now. So, and also the call. Thank you all.
Good night, everyone.